Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday. I am smiling because I have good news, and I think more than maybe any other time I can recall in history, I think the last year and a half, 2 years have been very, very rough for first-time home buyers. In the beginning of pandemic, the concern was that you were going to lose your job and you weren't going to have money to buy a house or to make your payments, right? So that was the obstacle to homeownership. As we sped through 2020, still more uncertainty, and also prices started to accelerate. We went into 2021, then there was no houses to buy when you wanted to buy a house. And in 2022, the rates went up and there still were no houses to buy. Well, the rates are still up and I can't change that. A lot of buyers are looking at 10-1 ARMs instead of 30-year fixed. That takes a little bit of the sting out of the rising rates. But I actually have some good news, and I mean like real, actual good news. One of the things that we have not really had the last 2 years is we haven't had a real spring. And spring in real estate, even in a place like California that isn't as seasonally dependent, is this time when families and sellers are thinking about moving and they're optimistic about the future and they put their homes on the market. And as a buyer, it means you actually have houses to choose from. And we have been so inventory constrained that I think for a lot of buyers, you bought the house you could get an offer accepted on, not necessarily the house that you wanted. I will tell you, if that was you, you probably should get a better agent because good agents can help at least make it a house you like. But it's been a very interesting market dynamic, and I think it hasn't been very much fun to be a buyer. And while the higher interest rates mean you're looking at numbers that maybe you wouldn't have even considered 6 months ago in terms of payment, I will tell you, I think that the home buying process is going to be more fun. With our own clients, we felt like it's more fun the last couple of weeks. And that's really a combination of things. And we now have the numbers and the data to back it up, that this just isn't an anecdotal fluke. This is actual market improvement that you will see and feel when you're out in the marketplace. We've got the numbers to prove it. And I think, the biggest thing for me that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks is this idea of market stratification, where the 25% most desirable homes have a certain level of competitiveness and the bottom 25% are considerably less competitive. And I think we're finally really starting to see that show up in the numbers. And it means buyers that are smart and look for homes that maybe have the right potential and the things that they're good in the things you can't change, even if they might need a little help in the things that you can change. I think we're finding that those buyers are really, those buyers that are willing to kind of look for those opportunities are actually making some headway. And I do see that things are getting easier. So let's jump into this. Okay. So where are we at on prices, right? If we look back a year ago, we were in, the low 700s. Today, we're around 800 for that entry-level home in that 25th percentile. That is about a 10% jump. I actually think that home price-wise, I really don't think things are that bad in terms of prices themselves. I think our bulk of our gains really occurred in much of last year. And at least the beginning part of this year, we did see some pretty decent sized jumps. But overall, when we look back, I don't think that it's that terrible. On the condo front, here we are at, last year, we were kind of around in that sort of mid-4s type of an arrangement for our entry-level 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. Where are we today? Mid-5s. That has been as a percentage increase. I think that that's been a little bit more. And we talked about the reasons why the condo market has kind of roared in the past, that it was a bit undervalued. If we look at total monthly payment, I think this is the one where people are really feeling it, right? Today we're around 5,300. And a lot of that, and we're basing this on, again, this is based on 5% down, including mortgage insurance, including taxes, et cetera. And, I'm going to take a little sidebar here for a second. When we developed the statistic, this 5% down based on the prevailing 30-year fixed, including mortgage interest, at that point in time, conforming rates for mortgages were similar to jumbo rates. And right now, that isn't true. Right now, jumbo rates are in some cases significantly less expensive. We've noticed mortgage insurance or these rates on these 5% down low down payment mortgages have accelerated more than other mortgage rates. So our graphs are sort of exaggerating this change. If you're someone who's 10% down using a jumbo loan and doing a 10-1 ARM, that difference in payment is not nearly as big as it looks on these charts. So, to kind of go along with how consumers are actually making decisions, we might actually want to change some of these, because I don't think this is always exactly reflective of what real consumers like you are facing out there if you're a little bit more strategic with how you structure your purchases. Now, again, going back, looking at, income, what income's required, we're right around that $100,000 mark for our entry-level condo for that minimum household income. I think we're right around 135-ish is where we are for our entry-level single-family home. And then if we look at our absorption rate, like this is the one that I think is very, very interesting, especially when you contrast it with last year. So here we are at 79% on our entry-level condos and 75% on our entry-level single-family homes. That is a very, very different scenario than we were at last year, where we're 95 and 89%, right? And I think the big reason why is we are seeing an influx of listings come into the market. We're also seeing a little bit of demand slowing, especially for those homes that are not in that top tier of desirability. And here it is. Here is the real big number that tells us a lot about our market. So if we look back here, we actually have a little bit better inventory than we had last year. And that's really stuff that's happened in the last week. We've seen an influx of these new listings. Now, I'll be curious to see if this jump in listings corresponds to a jump in purchases that actually starts next week. Remember, things are always delayed, right? Homes can come on the market 1 week, and if there's a batch of houses come, it takes 1 to 2 weeks for those to disappear, even those top tier homes to go under contract. We're actually at a little bit better inventory than we were at last year. We were more at sort of the end of May levels of inventory. Condos, still really in the toilet on condo inventory. It's getting better. That's an improvement, but it's still significantly less than we were at last year. And I think that's a function of that condo market really being more desirable. Now, here's our other stat that we watch very closely. We've been a new high for what we call our 14-day still active percent. And that means of all the homes that came on the market in the last 14 days, how many of those entry-level single-family homes are still in the market? And guess what? We're seeing much bigger numbers of those. Now, part of that is that influx, right? That influx of new listings in the past week is kind of maybe skewing this up a little bit. But look, this is a new height for this number. Take heed if you are looking at this as a buyer. This means you are going to actually have some selection. And then here it is. Really, this is the final number that is very, very important. And this is our weeks of inventory. Now, for both condos and single family homes, we are less than 4 weeks of inventory. In any grand scheme of the market, that is not a lot of inventory. But let's look and compare where we were last year. We were around, high 2 weeks. So this is like a third more inventory than we had a year ago for those entry-level single-family homes. We're still trailing our condo inventory from last year, but hey, it's in the right direction. So here's kind of my advice. I think if you are a buyer, right, you have a couple of things going on right now. So if you think that interest rates will never come down again, you might be thinking, well, I'm just going to wait. And if you wait, there's a chance you might see some softness in prices, some more inventory to choose from, but you also might be facing a higher payment and be priced out. I think this is the advice that I give to buyers at any given point in time. Decide on what you think is a reasonable expectation for your budget and your preferences, right? And your patience level. And then look in earnest and be opportunistic and jump on the houses that make sense. But do not jump on those houses that just happen to be there because you're excited about getting a house. I think those days, are gone. And in fact, I'm not sad to see those days go. I think it always pained me to see buyers just so desperate to get anything. We're also going to see that people are going to play a lot nicer in the marketplace. I think you're going to see, even in these most desirable houses, 5 to 10 offers, not 20 to 30. I think that's a much better place to be if you're a buyer. I don't think you're going to be asked to waive appraisals as often. You're not going to be asked to waive inspections, these things that are honestly really kind of risky things to do if you're a buyer. So really, we're kind of heading into a great week. We've actually got a couple buyers we're working with that are very excited about the inventory levels. It's very noticeable if you're actually out there in the marketplace, especially if you want a special home. Some of you know we do a lot of work on architectural properties, and really that's the space where we're just seeing a lot more opportunity, especially for people that are really willing to kind of take sort of a diamond in the rough and make it something special. And I'm not saying houses that are like disasters. I'm just talking about ones that aren't optimized for their value. We're seeing a lot of opportunities. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody has a great weekend. If you would like to become a homeowner, remember, we are on a mission here at Domicile Real Estate to help California's renters become homeowners. Definitely reach out to us, either here on our YouTube channel or through the contact information down below. We would love to hear from you. Questions, comments. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you hear about our new videos. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you again real soon.